Oh, please don't come to Taiwan. We have enough of them already. Yeah, don't come. Don't come. Stay home. Go to, if you're American, go to Cancun or Florida. And if you're a European, go to Mallorca or Spain. Stay where you are. If you come as an expat and you work here and you have a normal job, then most of the people who stay here for longer, they get quickly adapted and they are nice, many of them. Other than those, I find many people who are difficulty here or think they are superior, they feel like they come here to save the world. Nobody needs to save Taiwan. You just have to live here as a guest. And if you're a long time here, you can feel here, home. But don't come here and teach the people the world.
That's right.
I just really enjoy it. First of all, it's just such a cool island, you know, in the middle of Asia, so it's very centrally located. And I just like life in Taiwan. It's really easy, it's very convenient, it's extremely safe. For myself, coming from South Africa, one of the more dangerous countries in the world, just being able to sit here in a park on a sunny day, it's a luxury. It's something we're not used to back home.
And since then, every single year it's improved, and now Taiwan is in the top 3 safest countries in the world. One of the reasons for that, in many countries, the police and the criminals are connected, but then the needle leans more towards the criminal side.
I really like Taiwan, and I find it very chill and convenient to live here.
During your stay here, have you encountered any difficulties?
Yes, I did. Hospitals.
What I love is the kind of busyness, the stress, the busyness on the streets, the color, the lights, never sleeping cities, the scooters, the cars. And especially what I still remember, what takes me always back 30 years is when I pass a temple or when I pass a restaurant. This is the first smell memories I have from Taiwan. He was just complaining about Taiwan, how dirty, or I don't know what reason. I wasn't really listening because I was just happy when I hear him complaining about Taiwan because bye-bye, go, never come back. So either you love it or you hate it. Or for people who hate it, that's okay, just go, never come back.
Mostly what I've gathered is that China is not really going to make it like a, let's say, invasion in the immediate near future. But we don't know for 100% sure because it's all down to Xi Jinping. It's up to him. But like this talk of the 2027 deadline for them to invade, I've talked to a lot of experts who said that it's not really set like that. It's just, okay, it might be a milestone in terms of like capability, but that's not really necessarily a milestone for really invading. What we're just going to see is just what we've been seeing, which is the gray zone tactics, where they just try to intimidate Taiwan, but without actually touching off a war. Xi Jinping himself, he denied there's a 2027 deadline. He's very agitated about that. And Tsai Ing-wen said that they have too many problems of their own right now to handle a war. And I think they're both right. I think there's, it's a lot of bluster. And Taiwanese are very used to that. And so that's why you don't see Taiwanese really reacting to this stuff. And the Taiwanese government knows that as long as they don't really react much to it, the Chinese government doesn't have much to work with.
All suspicion in their voice, she says, you've been here a long time already. Isn't it time you leave? We can't let those idiots in China dictate our lives. The rate of entrepreneurship among immigrants in these countries is way higher than in Taiwan. The number in Taiwan is less than 1%.
But that experience, it helped me understand more about Taiwan's culture and the people and how they work as a team. I am leaving Taiwan and it's a bit emotional to talk about. It's hard to talk about because I'm leaving and I don't want to cry. But it's okay because I'm emotional.
I'm not saying that the CCP doesn't want to unify with Taiwan, but that's, trying to do that by force is the least efficient.
In April, I ran around Taiwan. I was stopped 10 times First of all, I was shocked at how many people were stopping. They were probably thinking, who is this crazy foreigner running in like the middle of the day on the side of the road? And I was stopped 10 times.
I think I'm pretty Taiwanese. If you live in Taipei City, you've never really been to Taiwan.
Yes.
A person tasting their father's feces to see if he's healthy, and that's considered, you know, really very loyal. But there's definitely a strain of xenophobia, the Celestial Kingdom, right? Tianlongguo. I see Taiwan almost as two separate countries. They also show some examples of filial piety. Japan might be the worst. Nursing your husband's mother or something because she's too old and doesn't have teeth. Oh, China's changing and Taiwan's still stuck. I encourage 台湾人多看看你自己的国家好不好?
They really wanted me to stay in China and maybe work for a company that does like business between Russia and China. And sometimes it means like not really showing how you feel just in order to be likable. They were expecting certain things from Taiwan already. What surprised them was that Russians are different. It's not that we are mean. Taiwan is not China.
It's just such a great experience to have. I think that the Taiwanese culture is intriguing. It's a real interesting blend of like Japan and China and other aspects of Southeast Asia that I've seen. And I think that Taiwan should try to export that culture to the English-speaking world more, to the Western world, right? I mean, it's really interesting. And they have really talented musicians and artists, and just try and push that out more. I think the world would really appreciate it. Taiwan has a lot of really great things going for it.
Okay.
I wish the world could see Taiwan for all its super cool and beautiful and amazing things that it has. Its great food, its interesting culture, and not see it only through the lens of the conflict it has with the CCP.
And I took my wife to Bolivia. The day before, my friend and her sister got in a big argument. And then the next day, they all go to work, and then lunch, they come back. And then we're all having lunch together. And then my wife, she's Taiwanese, you know, and she has that same idea. It's like, wait, you're wasting so much time back and forth. So she asks her, she goes, you work, it takes 45 minutes for you to get to work. Mm-hmm. So 45 minutes there and 45 minutes back. Why don't you just eat lunch near your office? Why do you come here? And then she looks at my wife and she says, you know, you probably heard that last night, me and my sister, we had a fight, but she is my sister. I will come back and I will have lunch with my family every day forever because she is my family. And that's why we do it, because it's family. It's a family values to sit down and eat together. And then my wife just started crying. We're like, what? She goes, her sister lives like 10 minutes from our house, right? And she goes, I haven't had lunch with my sister in years. It's a very beautiful, a very sweet thing.
I was like, wow, I'm about to go to Asia. This place wasn't on my map. And that's another thing about Taiwan that I found it crazy important. It's like, those people are amazing. And you barely sleep, but you sleep in a temple, you sleep in somebody's house. They're beautiful, not only on the religious meaning, but just for the human meaning. So I was watching a Netflix series about food. I got emotional. I was like, oh my God, I need to meet this guy. But you really live in a magical place. I was like, oh my God, this is a reason to go to Taiwan.
Just one single moment, my entire life changed. If this accident happened anywhere else, I think the outcome would be different. That's something that I don't think I would even be able to find in the United States. Came to Taiwan to visit and instantly fell in love.
Many Taiwanese people ask me this question, and I feel like it's strange because it has the connotation when it comes from a Taiwanese person of you should go to China. But I have also traveled to China whilst I loved my time there, it can be really overwhelming for Western people culturally. There's, I think, more of a cultural gap between, at least between Australian normal day-to-day interaction and the manner of speaking and Chinese versus Taiwanese. In my personal opinion and experience, Taiwanese culture is a lot softer. Taiwanese people are very cute and sweet and gentle. I think that's a more hospitable environment if you're learning a second language, which is something that's already very challenging. So I'm determined to reach this goal, but I knew before I came here that it would be a very difficult process. So choosing somewhere like Taiwan that I knew I liked and I had this sort of really good impression of, was a factor that I thought would contribute to helping my learning progress faster. Also, there's more scholarship opportunities available in Taiwan than in China, at least for Australians.
那并不是说他们自己会很 open， 可是别人不一样的话，他们可以接受。台湾这样子是有一点特别，不像中国大陆。只要你不是像一般的老百姓在中国的话，他们会有一点怀疑你。When I came and I asked about things like Erba, which was the February 28th massacre, and then the following years of what they call white terror oppression, 白色恐怖. And in those days, I was hushed. People would say, we don't talk about that. And there would be the sort of local gangsters, we call them 流氓 or 兄弟, and it would be like, 看什么看? You don't hear about Republic of China so much anymore. When I first came, you didn't hear about Taiwan or Taiwanren very much. And when Taiwanese people were trying to explain the differences between them and foreigners, they would always start by saying, oh, 我们中国人是这样，你们外国人是这样. Taiwan is a much better place now than when I first got here. So Taiwanese are very famous right now.
To live in a house with 6 other people, Taiwan isn't like in your face. Korea is a place that it front loads the attraction to you. I don't want to say accepted. I think that's a common foreigner thing, like to be accepted. I don't know what that really means, to be accepted. I can never imagine doing what I've done in Taiwan and Korea. I turned in my ARC and everything. I was done. I washed my hands of Taiwan. It's whenever Taiwan is in the news in the US, it's never good news. There's never a happy Taiwan story in the US. I'm pro burning ghost money. Burn more ghost money. It's fine,
And me, I was not good. I was not interested by the school. I don't understand why we learn something at school. So I came to Taiwan with nothing at this time. I don't want to do this. It's a job for women. My life in Taiwan is a story of women. If you want to make opportunities, don't stay in your sofa. Don't stay at home scrolling TikTok or watching Netflix. I was very depressive at this time. I could consider myself like a homeless because in fact I had nowhere to go.
I left because I couldn't do my residence because apparently I need to prove that I'm Taiwanese.
So you have a Taiwanese passport?
Yeah.
That's another area where over a very short period of time they really improved. And of course there's still room for more improvement, but they have improved from when I first came here 50 years ago. 我没有想到我会住那么久。本来要来这里一年而已，可是来了以后，我一直在学，开始在买古董。我认为地方越来越好，所以我都没有搬走，我都没有搬回去美国的。最后我差不多4年后，我去找我大学的法律部门，跟最大的老板谈，他说：“哎，你是谁？” Well, it's much easier today than it was 30 years ago. Taiwan's a young country. People forget. Most countries from which most people come, foreigners, are hundreds of years old, whereas Taiwan is new. They really only started in the late 40s, early 1950, the Taiwan of today, before it was under Japanese occupation and Dutch occupation. And so I think it takes time for the country to grow, to diversify. I couldn't buy property before. I mean, there were a lot of things I couldn't do. I couldn't get health insurance, national health insurance, when I first came.
Make me really like this country apart from their food is the Taiwanese people. I travel far and wide. There is good people around the world, but I never met somebody like the Taiwanese. They have their very good side, they have their flaws as well, but they are best people I ever met. If you lost faith in humanity, just come to Taiwan. Come to Taiwan for a holiday and you regain faith in humanity. Like people gonna close your bag if it's open because they're afraid you're gonna lose stuff. They're just generally nice with people and they love their country. They're extremely patriotic. They're proud of Taiwan. You probably still hear it, even if you're here a long time. They just maybe passing in the streets like, welcome to Taiwan. But Taiwan is quite great, and you are, just keep going. You're doing great. I'm happy that you're really proud of Taiwan, and you should, because you're living in a great country. And maybe many of you, they haven't been living in somewhere else, so they haven't been traveling outside, but you really live in a magical place. Like, it's hardly can find a place with so many qualities as here. You managed to create a really happy highland here in Taiwan. Super welcoming to anybody coming here, and I found that it's really nice.
As opposed to independent research, I think that the information we received, I now know from having Taiwanese friends here, is a little bit skewed.
You know, I found the place I love to be. I found the place I want to be. You know, I found the place I'm going to be for a long time. And I love it here. You know, actually, I say I don't like Taiwan because I love Taiwan. Like is not strong enough. It's not a strong enough word. I don't like Taiwan. I go, what? But I love Taiwan, and it's a place that I instantly felt at home. It's given me a career that I love. It's given me lots of wonderful new friends. You know, I love the appeal of just how exotic and traditional, you know, things can be. But, you know, Taiwan is beautiful. It's a beautiful country. And the people, you know, make it beautiful.
Compared to Melburnians, Taiwanese walk very slowly, and everyone riding their bikes on the footpath. And it feels like there's so much happening that people are going to crash into each other every 2 seconds because no one walks to one side. They stop randomly. People ride bikes holding umbrellas and texting, which is just not things you would really see at home. So there are a lot of those little quirks that I notice out and about that's, you know, quite like sweet, and just, I guess, in the same way experiencing any new country, there are things that are different from what you're used to at home.
I came to Taiwan when they were promoting Taiwan as the real China. That was during the Cultural Revolution, right? And so according to the Taiwanese, the Chinese had destroyed their culture in the Cultural Revolution. And if I really wanted to see the real China, I had to come to Taiwan. Taiwan is very, very beautiful, but I don't think they know what they're doing when it comes to making use of that beauty.